This is Common Courtesy, a conversation on modern society from an LGBTQ plus perspective. A talk show for working LGBTQ plus individuals and allies who are active in their own communities and who also wish to stay woke about what's happening in today's world. With your host, Sean Nicholas. I'm still sour for not winning this little acting award in high school. I'm still sour. Angelique Young.
I can't do the caged bird thing. It's not in my thing. I'm literally, my symbol is a freaking half man.
And Ivan Alexander.
Oh, I need to change this. No, you can't change this. Okay? Before Gaga, I was born this way. Okay?
This is Common Courtesy.
That was doomed from the start.
And shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Around Sue's or whatever. And
no, that was me.
But that's our stereo.
So let's start the conversation.
Oh, we're back. Okay,
Hey guys, and welcome back to Common Courtesy, a conversation on modern society from an LGBTQ plus perspective. I'm your host and moderator, Sean Nicholas, and I'm here alongside my awesome co-host and my favorite people in the world. I have Angelique Young. I also have with me radio personality Ivan Alexander. Ivan,
what's up?
And this is Common Courtesy, guys, and we're going to get into hot topics in a little bit in a second. Today in this episode, we're going to have Rico Davis, our singer of our theme song, coming in. He had a little emergency, and that's okay. You know, it happens. We'll see him again next time he comes back. But I wanted to kind of get into everything because there's a lot of crazy shit going on in the world. But before we do, I just kind of want to check in with everybody and see how we're doing. Angelique, how are you doing over there and what's going on with you?
I'm doing good. I'm reporting to you guys live from Orlando, Florida. I have a returning gig tonight. I'm taking the stage representing Twisted Tuesdays for Orlando's Orlando's premier talent night. So this was started back at Pulse and they continue to here at Southern. And so it's a real honor to not only be an alumni, but to be able to come back and perform.
Cool.
And Ivan, what's going on with you over there?
Nothing much. I'm coming to you live from my couch in my living room in St. Petersburg. I was not going to be outdone with all that intro, Miss Young, okay? On the road again. No, just kidding.
Oh, gosh. I love it. I'm glad we're all here, and I'm glad we're all... Shots fired. I'm glad we're all here, and I'm glad we're all safe, because, I think this weekend or a couple of days ago was the anniversary of what happened in Orlando at Pulse. Mm-hmm. And, I know everyone, they were very shaken by this. And, and honestly, kind of angers me what happened this weekend. So let's go ahead and get into hot topics. Because this is why I started this show, because I want us to have a voice and not to be afraid to speak up when this shit happens. So let's get into it. This weekend, based on a tip from a concerned citizen, 31 members of the far-right extremist group, the Patriot Front, were arrested from the back of a U-Haul just miles away from a pride event in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, with plans and gear for a riot. They are now being charged with a misdemeanor for conspiracy to start a riot, but they are now out on bail. Among them that was captured was the alleged leader of the white supremacist group, 23-year-old Thomas Rousseau. Now, I know we all saw this video on Twitter and via social media and the news. I wanted to ask you guys, how did you react to this? And do you think there's a larger attack coming to us?
I mean, this is, it's just another wake up call. It's another reality setting moment. The Patriot Front is something that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was involved with the January attack on the Capitol. And they are a group that is constantly being talked about, and this just proves that they're in action, and it proves that the supposed leaders are really leaders. And if people are showing up on repetition at these events or on this scale, it means that we have to be aware that it could happen anywhere and at any point in time. They chose a smaller parade to attack or to attempt to riot, and they were unsuccessful by luck. I mean, there's some supposed hearsay on exactly how the tip off went down, but regardless, the fact that that tip off happened saved God knows how many lives and how many people, and prevented people from having, a bad experience, or having a ruined Pride experience. And these people are marching for their own rights. They're not marching because of who they are, who they sleep with. They're marching because they want the same rights as everybody else, and they want the opportunity to have those. And so when we have these kind of events, at the end of the day, it's really about us just living our best lives and living in our truths and having our moment in the sun. And they could have ruined that completely. And if there's any truth to it happening again, absolutely. These people were let out on bail. None of them had to stay. I mean, they all made bail, which is crazy. 31 individuals made bail. They were either ready for that, or they knew what they were doing, or they have a very good benefactor, which is even more scary, which means that there's somebody supplying them with these tools, these uniforms, these different things that they're utilizing to put fear in people. And the bigger question is if it's working or not. I think it really is. Whether they got caught now or later, if they attempt again, we really do need to keep our eyes and ears open.
Well, you know me, I got to start with bullshit because I think it's total crap that the fact that you're going to come purposely to cause a riot is only a misdemeanor. When you cause that riot and all hell breaks loose and there's other issues behind that, other things happen, that's not just a misdemeanor. You came there with the intent to do a lot more than just start the fire. Okay, you came to burn some shit down. No matter how you play it, how you look at it, you came to cause a ruckus and then some. So quite frankly, the 31 of them that got bonded out, like Angelique said, somebody had some money behind them to say, you know what, boys, don't worry about it. Because they said they were rather stoic and expectantly. They were trained and ready to be, taken in. So they didn't cause a fight. They didn't cause a big fuss. They just, okay, fine, take us in, bonded out like that. What is up with that? I have a problem with that. And then secondly, I hate to say it, but sad to say, yes, I do seriously believe there's going to be some shit going down when it comes time for the big parades and the big celebrations. And quite frankly, I know there are places that I cannot legally go into strapped, but the places that I can go in strapped, or the places I can hang out strapped, oh, my 45 is ready. Okay. And there are several magazines that say, you want to act a fool and play stupid games? I'm not the one. So I'm just saying, I don't want to see it happen, but in this day and age, there are too many stupid ass people out there that think that their way is the right way, or that they want to promote what they believe in and say screw everybody else, and they don't care what they do in the process. No, not the one, boo boo. So if you want to bring it, I'm here. But I'm saying it's crazy.
Absolutely, Ivan. I'm glad you got the energy because this is the reason why I started this show, because I want things like this and conversations like these, something that we're not afraid to talk about, and also as well keep it on our minds. Because when I saw that video of them lifting up that truck and 30 fucking guys in there with like white masks on, they look like the fucking Klan, and it
not far from it.
Not far from it. It actually is. And this group was apparently, I heard they were, formed from, was the Unite the Right rally back in 2016 or 2015 when they killed that girl. Like these people, I'm glad they caught them at the right time. They were committing a crime. So now everyone knows who they are, because that's the one thing that they had going for them was the being masked. You didn't know who they were. And that's what the Klan had. You can say who they were, but now we know who these individuals are. I absolutely think there's a bigger plot or scheme coming longer down the road, because I feel like this is like a test run. Them getting caught was nothing. Maybe
the warning
people
shot.
are going to be like,
it's like shark's teeth. It's like shark's teeth. There's more behind these 31 idiots. There's thousands more behind these idiots. Unfortunately,
absolutely.
I watch enough superhero
a lot of them
to know that these are just the pawns. There is not there is a bigger fish in the pond running this, and there's an even bigger fish.
Think about it, Angelique. You just said something about like how they all bonded out, where that money come from. Of course, there is money behind this. Like just like every organization, either they're putting the money into it or someone else is as well. They are just a small fish. There is something going to happen, because I think these people are getting bolder. Because with Donald Trump in office, makes people bolder. I feel like the Russians did when the Russians did interfere with our elections, Trump was kind of their pawn and their ally. I'm just gonna say this is a legal note. This is not real, not based on anything, but it's just a theory because a lot of time the CIA their job is to go over into a country and destabilize that country. I feel like having Donald Trump in our office for 4 years destabilized our country to a point where this stuff is just going on like rampantly. Like, and I don't think that I mean, we wouldn't know if Hillary Clinton was the president. I feel like this man has emboldened these people to not be afraid. And there's also other politicians that are with the big lie in January 6th, like Angelique said earlier. This is the whole big thing, and they need to deal with this because they said that white supremacy was the biggest domestic terror threat in America, and we just saw that right now. 31 people going to a riot in bumfuck Idaho to start some shit, but they were going to make a statement if they got out. But they even made a statement there because people are afraid to probably go out. But like this girl I saw in the interview said, we cannot be afraid. We cannot be afraid of these people because that's what they want. That's what terrorism is, to make us afraid to be who we are. We're out of time for this topic. Unless anybody else has anything to say.
Let's just face it. Trump was the fox in the hen house, okay? And they want to put his ass back in there. Not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
2020,
a wolf
no.
In sheep's clothing.
2024, no.
In sheep's clothing.
2020, nothing. You're out.
Shut the wolf in sheep's costume. It's not. It don't even look like a sheep. It's not a sheep. Ugh. It don't walk like a sheep. It don't talk like a sheep. It ain't no sheep. But it's dressed like one. It's like like it's just not. Yes, cosplaying, but it ain't selling. It ain't giving.
And with that, we'll be right back. And we're back, folks. I feel like these people ain't got shit else to do. Like, you got the Patriots out there, the Patriot Front out there bothering people, trying to start a riot. And then you got this fool. All right, let's get to the next topic. Australian comedic actress Rebel Wilson came out in an Instagram post last week, perhaps before she was ready to, because this came after a gossip columnist from the Sydney Morning Herald, after he reached out to her team for comment 2 days before an article was to be published about her previously private relationship with the American fashion designer Ramona Aruma. The columnist has since apologized, and the column has been removed, saying it was never his intention to out Wilson. Okay, that's what he says, but I want to know what you guys think. And can you relate to this outing situation?
I think it's a bunch of bullshit. I'm sorry, I got to start off with such bullshit because you call this person up 2 days before you're going to drop a bomb and go, well, it wasn't my intention to do this to you. What obvious choice did you give me? Either A, I have a proactive front and say, screw you, I'm going to come out bigger and better and louder than you ever thought you could do to me. Or sit back and go, okay, oh my God, what am I going to do? This is too much. I can't handle it. And then have a freaking breakdown. First of all, mind your effing business. Okay?
Hello.
What does this have to do with the price of tea in China? If she's not affecting you or bothering you, maybe you're just jelly because she got a designer. I don't know. Maybe it's like, why? What will possess you? And then to try and pull it back. Let's see. You already opened the door and ran through it, dumbass. You can't close the door. Okay? The damage is done. And regardless of what you thought you were doing or what your intent to do was, you did what you did. So you know what? Karma's a bitch. And it's going to bite you in the ass one of these days. And then you're going to say, like, oh, that's what it feels like. Boop.
I think this is one of the oldest tactics in the book when it comes to getting people to give you, an answer that you want versus the answer that they might want to give. So like back in the day, this is what they would do. They'd scare tactic you. They force you to make a move. It's very like chess or any other strategy game. You make a move that forces their attention one way so that you can either take advantage of it or move towards your actual goal. So it was a misdirection. They just said that and they gave a date saying like respond within 48 hours, misleading her to feel like if she didn't respond in 48 hours, they were just going to print it anyway, or she had an opportunity to tell them and give them the scoop. So rather than her giving them the scoop, this is what makes me feel like she's genuinely somebody who was in the closet, because her whole life has been dissected. Her last relationship was on the chopping block. Everything that she went through with that, the weight loss, having to be, him leaving her after that. She's obviously not trying to have her life in the reality in the world, because even that relationship wasn't all in the paper. All people heard about was the breakup. So,
right,
having gone through that once already in the public eye and being torn apart in the news for being the fucking victim, here she is again at another situation. And I mean, I think anybody who's in a situation where they're going to be outed does this. This is kind of like the move that's done to every single person that's ever been outed. They get put in a situation where a picture gets exposed or something happens, and they end up having to make the statement beforehand, even when they're not ready to. Personally, I thought she should have called their bluff and been like, do it, because then she could have tore the whole paper down. Look at the damage she did by just beating the punch and saying, this is what happened. And them having to be like, oh, well, she got receipts, so let me just jump thinking, let me go ahead and tell them what we thought we were going to do, right? Basically, they just admitted to forcing her into that situation. And that's bullshit. And I think that is crap, where it's 2022. If somebody wants to lay with somebody else, that's none of your fucking business. And it's their job to come out when they're ready. We can't sit here as a world and say we accept gay people and we accept the lifestyles that they live, and then sit there and constantly put them under the microscope yet again. I don't care if they're a celebrity or not. She's a human being, and she deserves more than that. And if I was her, I would go all in. Like, I would go all in to tear that newspaper and that person down. I want him out. Like, I would just go in, because she has that right and she has that power. And of course, she's a good person, so she's not going to do it. She's going to take her relationship and she's going to run with it, and she's going to soar from this. She's going to recover lovely. You know what I mean? But it still sucks. That's your story. And all of us should know what that feels like, right? Like, to have a journey, to have a story, to have a moment, and to find happiness, no matter how big or small that might be, to have somebody take that moment from you, that one shining moment in your life, they took that, and even, the way she wanted to do it, her dream, her ideal of it is now gone. She was forced to post a picture and be like, this is my mate. Like, like, hi guys, hi world, this is what I'm doing, So,
right.
And this is in the wake of her Netflix movie and everything else. So it's like, this puts a hindrance on certain people, and they don't know what kind of repercussions this could have on her career, on her job, or on her life. Like, people don't think when they're looking.
And that's probably the reason why she didn't say anything in the first place. Because I mean, how many stories do we hear about women in Hollywood having a hard time getting, jobs after maybe a certain age or being a certain weight, because she was big at first, and she's a comedic actress, and it's all about this. It's almost like a boys club. So, I mean, I can understand why she would try to hide that, because, I mean, it was the same reason why Ellen did too, because Ellen, after she came out, of course, this is back in the 90s, but Ellen just kind of fell off for a while, I think that even when I was growing up, and I was pursuing acting, and I, was doing film and television, I was very hesitant to talk about that part of my life, even growing up. I remember the thought of my parents finding out that I was actually gay, because I was out with my friends in high school fairly early, like in, like, let's say freshman year. But I wasn't out with my parents until I was 20, because I felt, I was from a Christian background. They're going to, like, disown me and throwing me out of the house, I'm going to be living with my friend Allison, it is all this crazy shit going through my head. My friends would tell me I'm crazy, but this is what you would think, because that's the propaganda they're putting out in the media. Every time you saw a gay character back in the 90s, it was either like, a negative, like, kind of not a negative thing, but it wasn't a good thing. It was like, oh, he's gay, or maybe he had AIDS or some shit like that. Or he's just the best friend. You never got to see yourself on television. So, I mean, and then for a gay man to do this to her is fucked up, because we all know how that is. And I mean, just to sell papers, yeah, there's a line that I feel that you shouldn't cross. And I feel like, in this industry, you'll cross it. You'll be tempted to cross that line all the time. And I think he crossed that line, giving her 2 days to respond to a comment on an article he's already going to write. He's going to release anyways, he's going to release it anyways, whether it's her say so or not, whether she posted that Instagram photo or not, he's going to post it. It was fucking wrong for him to do that. But I think that Rebel Wilson, the way that she handled it with grace, I think she's definitely, I agree with Angel, she's going to soar from this. She's going to be on every commercial, on television every day because of how she dealt with that, because she could have been angry. She could have denied it, She said, no, this is what it is. right before, I mean, way before the article came out, this is who I am, and she took her own story back. That took strength and courage. And, I like I said, when I was studying acting, and I always thought, I'm like, how am I going to deal with, the whole gay thing and how everyone else already handled that? And that fear is still there, because it's like you can only play gay roles. If you notice that a lot of gay actors, they're only playing gay roles. They don't really play straight roles. So it's like, I understand why she did that. And it's just terrible we have human beings like that today in this world.
I'm gonna say that I
Oh,
think
wait, you got something more to say?
I think she
We're
should
still
just
rolling.
I think she should just Vanessa William all their asses, okay, and come back bigger and better and larger than you ever had with that crown, okay? Just kick them all in the ass. Welcome to the comfort zone, bitch.
Okay, with that, we'll be right back. All right, so an advice seeker writes into Extra Magazine's Ask High, advice for the apocalypse, about falling in love with his college friend of 4 years, who at the moment is in a long distance relationship with another man. They are just about to graduate and they plan on living in the same city. And he says how his friend and the long distance lover are always complaining about not having enough time together. Maybe things are on the rocks. He writes whether or not should he either move on, even though he's not ready to just throw his feelings away, or should he wait for the relationship to dissipate, or should he tell him? I thought about this, and I'm like, let me bring this to the panel and see what these fools think.
Well, first of all, 4 years ain't slow. It's a snail's pace, okay? I mean, get together, do something. 4 years, you've been long, and oh my goodness, really? Um, so he's in the same city with this guy who's in a relationship long distance with this other guy, and he doesn't want to say anything while he's in this relationship, but he doesn't want to give it. He just doesn't want to give it up. Molly girl, you in trouble. That's the first thing that came to my mind. It's like, okay, you got to figure this out.
Why you say that? Why you say that?
Because it's not going to end well. Nothing good can come of this. If he's in a relationship, he's in a relationship. Don't mess it up, okay? Because then it's going to come back that they're going to have issues, and then you're going to have issues, and you will lose everything. So you might want to sit down and just have some coffee and say, I have a friend who's going through something right now. So what would you do? Kind of like put it on him to see what he would do if it was him and his friend in the same situation. Then he knows he needs to either get the hell out or do what he's got to do. But, rather than say it's because everybody says, oh, well, I have a friend in this position. Well, yeah, you do. It's you, but he doesn't have to know that. So I say, work it out. Bring it up. Find a way to bring it up. It's been 4 years and you're about to graduate. He's about to graduate and live in the same city. Y'all need to work it out. Just saying.
Wait, did you understand? Like, he's in love with his friend that his friend's in love. Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah. So he needs to sit down with his friend and say, I have a friend in this situation. What would you do? And then take it from there to see what he would say.
Indirect.
And then if he says, hypothetically, if this was you, what would you do? Okay, well, guess what? It's me. Then what should I do? They either get married or they either get married or they kill each other. I mean, it's going to go one way or the other, okay?
This is like an awkwardly tough thing because I can't say that I've never been in this position, right? So I'm going to be honest and say that does not ever pan out for you. Like, if you're not honest up front and you don't tell the person up front how you feel, then it is always going to end in a shamble. It's always going to end in wreckage, right? It's going to make a trust issue out of your friendship because the person's not going to know if you've been their friend the whole time because you like them or if you've been their friend because you actually vibe and you actually have a connection, like on a friendship level. I've always put it out there.
Especially if they showered together.
It's like, a girl and a guy, and the guy doesn't explain that, it's like, this is like the same thing. Like if no matter how you swing it, right? But the ideal that I've always had, or the motto I've always had in my head is it's better to have you as a friend than have you as a lover and lose you forever. A friend is forever. You're going to have friends. Your friendships last a lot longer than your relationship. So for me, whenever I've been in a situation where I might have feelings or have a crush or I might think that somebody is attractive, I always keep it to a point where, like, if the opportunity arises where my moment to be like, hey, I like you, Like, that conversation, I think, comes across with every friend. Like, you're like, oh, I think you're attractive, or oh, I would sleep with you, or oh, I would do this. Like, you kind of have those little conversations here and there. But I never take them seriously. Like, I think everyone's beautiful, but I don't want to sleep with everyone, right? So when it comes to your friends, like, if I have strong feelings for a friend, when I first started my friendships out, especially in the gay world, it was like very confusing because you're not used to having somebody care for you like that. You're not used to having that kind of close relationship with somebody who is of the attracted sex. So when that's introduced to you, it's hard to compartmentalize those feelings at times. It's hard to be like, oh, I just really have a strong friendship with you, or I have a family like bond, or I have like this kind of bond. It's like, you don't put it like that because you're like, damn, you're cute, you're smart, you're funny, you're everything I'm looking for in a person, but you're with somebody else. So it's not something you want to do. You never want to do it. I always say to myself, like, if we're meant to be, we're meant to be. Let's be friends. Like, if we're going to be friends for 10 years down the road, maybe 10 years we'll be ready for it. But right now, I'd rather have you as a friend. And every time I've ever done that, like, within a little bit of time, I start looking at that person. I'm like, damn, I'm so glad I didn't, like, blow this friendship. I'm so glad that I didn't take this out of proportion because my heart got a little pitter patter. Like, it's sometimes when you don't know
I'm
your
so glad I
feelings,
dodged the bullet.
very that.
I'm so glad I
Very
dodged
that.
the bullet.
So, like, I mean, it
Right.
depends on what it's worth to you. What is it? What are you willing to risk? 4 years of friendship and trust
Yeah.
and all that stuff. You're gonna live in the same city, but you're not gonna live together. You're gonna find other people. I think it's better to just kind of let
And
that
they're
one
in
go.
college.
You
They're
missed your shot, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they're in college. They're very young, Like, I can understand, like, you developing feelings for someone. I mean, but after 40, that's a long time. That's a really long time to, like, be friends with someone, and then now all of a sudden you have feelings. I can get it, and it happens to people. And but he should just shoot his shot. You know what I mean?
According
Rip
to
the Band-Aid off.
Netflix movies say that's the
Shoot
answer.
his shot.
Shoot your shot before you can't shoot it no more. Like,
Okay.
you gotta shoot the shot. So
Remember
I
that
say,
movie we watched? What was that movie we watched, Edge? Wait, I think we all saw it, Single All the Way. And it was
oh
kind of like
yes,
the same
the best friend.
situation. Yeah, the best friend and
Yeah.
the family was like, oh, we think you should get with the best friend. They're like, they never saw that until they had a moment. I think that he either should shoot his shot, or since they're young, right? They're in college. Fuck that. You should wait, nigga, because if they already complaining about, being in all this relationship, just let these niggas talk, let that
No,
just
I mean, like,
end.
but
Let
that's
it
the thing.
end.
A lot
And
of
just,
times we stay in relationships. Me and you both have said on this show before how we stay in relationships because we think that's where you fight through what you want. You stick with what you got. Like, you want to have that happy ending in something. So you kind of ignore your peripherals are gone, right? You only see tunnel vision.
yeah, wait, I don't think he
is
should,
missing
like,
out.
I think he should, like, if he should either shoot a shot. No, fuck that. Here's what I
No, fuck
think.
that. Closed
Don't
mouths
say
don't get fed.
anything.
Speak up.
Don't
Speak up. Say it. Speak your mind.
don't say anything. Say it. I think he should just shoot a shot and see what happens. Because if you
Just
don't,
tell him.
then because if you wait, okay, yeah, you're right. If you wait, then it's gonna be like, you're gonna be logging. You're not gonna live your life. If you're gonna wait for this guy, I don't think you should wait at all. I think you should go move on and live your life. Because he said he's not ready to, like, throw his feelings away. Go live your
Word.
life, because maybe some down the road it may happen. And like Angela said, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Nothing good happens after 2 a.m. Damn it. Nothing
Yeah.
good after 2 a.m. It doesn't exist.
I should just say,
Like,
say the shit. Just bring the shit up and say it. Because honestly, you never know that he may be feeling the same way about you. No one's a fucking mind reader. Last I checked.
Exactly. Closed mouths don't
no
get
one's a mind
fed.
reader.
You
No
gotta
one,
tell people you're hungry.
no one knows how you actually feel until you actually say it. Like, I've been in situations like this where, you have a friend and they're like, oh, they want to get, with you. And you think about that, but when it actually happens, you're like, holy shit, So, I mean, I think he should absolutely tell his friend, because one thing in a relationship, a long-lasting relationship, you should be a friend. You should have passion, but you ultimately should be friends, because you should be able to laugh with each other. You should be able to, like, because you're going to be living life, because not all of the relationship is like this whole cookie cutter image, what we see on Facebook, like, oh, look at us in Barcelona. No, between that shit, there were some arguments, like, God damn it, like, I'm tired of you putting your toothbrush in the shower, some shit like that. I was arguing with my ex-boyfriend all the time. We're going to move in together, and thank God we didn't, because the nigga was crazy.
Pew, pew. Dodge the bullet.
He was crazy. Yeah, right. I think, because
there goes.
But in their case, they're young. If they were my age, It's the same advice. Shoot your shot, nigga. Say some shit now because you don't get any younger. You could lose your chance because you never know. They could work this long distance relationship out, and the next thing you know, they move in together. They get married, and it's like my best friend's wedding. You know, do you want that? Do you
That
want
is not how that movie ended. That is not how
Brave.
that movie ended. That is not how that movie ended.
Wait, did she? Wait. Did she end up with the man? No,
she ends up alone.
Yeah,
She ends
okay.
up. She ends up.
Oh.
She does not end up with him. They don't know. She shoots a shot, and she almost ruins a whole wedding for nothing.
Yep.
That is not a good example.
Oh, I didn't see that movie.
I say do the hypothetical. Y'all go to dinner, do the hypothetical, and see what happens, okay?
And see what happens. You know, he may be feeling the same way. He may not be, you know.
It could end up like Something Borrowed. Something Borrowed is a great example. That's a movie where she goes for her best friend steals her boyfriend, and she ends up telling him how she feels, and they end up seeing where things go, and they end up together. That's another one. Something Borrowed is a better example.
Something Borrowed. She took the best friend. That sounds like something horror.
Or like Lizzie McGuire. Lizzie McGuire.
No, her best friend stole her man. Like it was originally when they was in college. It was some messed up stuff. You gotta watch that. Yeah. Kate Hudson. It's really good.
All right, we're out of time, guys. Thank you guys for joining us for this episode, and we'll see you guys next week with more hot topics and a new Pride guest.